which is a great story. You know, so you got to go, well, that seems so juicy. I want to buy into it.
Yeah.
And that's where I get nervous.
You don't know who to trust in this
Right.
world.
Exactly.
How do you figure that out? How do you figure out who to trust in your life? You're Joe Rogan. A lot of people want to be close to you. CIA agents, FSB agents, people that want.
I'm friends with a former CIA agent,
Yeah.
Mike Baker, who's been on my podcast a bunch of times.
Allegedly former.
Former.
Think about that.
He's air quotes former.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe he's former. I'm sure he has some connection to him. I also believe he's a good guy. But I gain a lot of very intelligent and well-informed insights from him as to how things work. And, you know, I think, I'm sure he doesn't tell me everything about everything, but he's told me enough where I think I can understand things better from talking to him about how the way, you know, the elves work under the machine.
What about friends? How do you know if you can trust?
Well, most of my friends are old friends.
Time. So time is the thing.
Yeah.
Like just going through shit together.
Yeah, and also people that, you know, first of all, comics. Like
you can trust comics?
Yeah.
Is that
comics are pretty trustworthy. The good ones, the really good ones.
Yeah.
There's not that many of us. If there's 1,000 professional comics on Earth, I'd be stunned. I don't even think there's 1,000. Like real professionals who you get booked all the time, headline weekends at clubs and theaters and arenas. Yeah, and then there's levels to that, right? There's like the guys who are middle acts who kind of like barely scrape by. And then like how many headliners are there? How many like really funny headliners that I would say, you know, if you, Lex, you tell me you're going to be in Cincinnati. Hey, this person's playing at this club. Should I go see them? I'd be like, you know, like how many people would I give the recommendation to? And then how many people sell out theaters? How many people sell out arenas? How many people? There's not that fucking many. So those people, like at the levels of comedy where you've been doing stand up for 20 years, there's a certain amount of honesty and a certain amount of understanding of each other that we all have.
Oh, so that process of becoming a great comic is like humbling in the way like jiu-jitsu is humbling.
Very similar.
Like you've eaten so much shit that that somehow, even if you're insane, even if you're chaotic, even if you're full of shit, you lie a lot, all those kinds of things, underneath it there's a good human.
Yeah,
you could be surface bullshitter, but on important things you're trustworthy.
Hopefully. I mean, if you're not, then people shy away from you, and there are people like that too that are really successful, but that are what I call islands. I talked to other comics about that. Like, you don't want to be an island because there's these people that aren't attached to the rest of the community, and they're doing well on their own. And usually they have like one opening act they bring with them on the road they've worked with forever, and they don't have comedy friends. And those people are miserable because they can't relate.
Sometimes fame in itself is isolating.
Very.
So you have to actually do a lot of work and make sure it doesn't isolate you. Because if you become successful, people start wanting stuff from you.
Yes.
And then sometimes you want to push them away because of that, as opposed to connect with them.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it when people want things from me. It's not fun.
You just ignore it.
Yeah, it's fucking too heavy. They want too much, and it's too much of a disproportionate relationship. You know, it's too unbalanced. Because there are people where you could tell that they're working towards something. They're working towards an angle, and they want to be close to you because you will benefit them. And then there's other people that are just, there's not that many of us, and so we all want to hang out together. Like one of the podcasts I love the most is this podcast I do called Protect Our Parks. It's a thing I do with Ari Shaffir, Shane Gillis, and Mark Norman.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so fun because we just get obliterated and we talk so much shit.
Yeah.
Like there's conversations after that podcast where I go, hey man, we got to cut that part out.
Yeah.
Because like Shane will go too far, he'll go too crazy, but we're just making each other laugh and it's just fun. And it's like that kind of camaraderie between real comics is very precious to me.
My favorite part of that is like the non sequitur stuff from Mark Norman. And you guys get so trashed that you don't even understand what the hell he's talking about. But it's funny to the listener because he's still on point. That guy's as sharp.
He's so
got
good.
That Mitch Hedberg quality.
Yes. Well, he's such a dedicated comic. You know, he loves comedy so much. That's one of the things I love about him. He's like, comedy. He gets excited. Like, he loves it. It's, as does Shane and as does Ari.
Yeah.
You know, they really love it. And it's that's so there's that. Like, I have friends in that way, and I have martial arts friends who are some of the also the thing about being humbled, how things like jiu-jitsu will humble you. Martial arts friends they're also they know who's been through it. You know, they know who really has gone through the gauntlet and emerged on the other end a better person.
Yeah. You said there's very few of us. Let's have the GOAT discussion. You're not going to pick